Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Grace Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last episode, we were starting our investigation and we met this Inspector Gregson. And we're gonna find ourselves more investigating ourselves from this murder, and we're gonna meet with Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, so let's move. New location's been added. Can we really visit? Do you think? Oh, pinch me, I must be dreaming. Alright, let's go. Oh, anime cutscene. Did he really? Wait, is the animation over? Wow, that was short-lived. Just to get to his house? Jeez. 19th of February, 12:53 p.m. Sholmes Suite. So this is where the great detective makes his living. Feels surreal to be here somehow. Is it described in the stories, Mr. Sato? Susato-san? Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the stories, but it's hard to quite get excited as it seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down onto an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Can you imagine, feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, I suppose I can, yes? So if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up all the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me. Huh, she's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. It's a pretty nice place. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Oh, it's this girl. Hello? Is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello? I'm giving her this voice. I'm hoping this will be enough. I'm hoping from what I looked over, this is the right voice for hello? Wait. Aren't you? Oh, how rude of me. I'll go make some tea at once. I'm sure it's the same girl. Mr. Sato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the Kingdom of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Bavaria? King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ormstein, of course. That is a long-ass name! Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes from a look over there. The tea's brewed, and I have freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you. I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. It's the girl with the gun. Ah, there you are. And be taking it with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial on an experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose. That machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh, yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend of, you know. Well, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray! Hooray! It's a winner. I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. And you must be exhausted after your long voyage here. So you must have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Mrs. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, Shirley? Mr. Sholmes was just a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she even here in Mrs. Strome's suite? Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live together here with Hurley. Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you just say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter, Sato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden? Yes, that's right. What are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Sato Mikotoba. Wonderful to meet you. Lovely. Iris and Uno, got it? Susie. And Runo. There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, I do not know where to start. Yes, so do I. Alright, first, before we talk to her, we explore everything. What on earth is that huge over-the-top machine? That's the great analytoscope. It analyzes anything, really, anything at all. That's absolutely incredible. I know I'm trying so hard with the British. I don't know if I should do British. I know, like, Johnny Awesome did British, but that was, like, a lot of, like, work for him, to be honest. It's one of Hurley's inventions. It took him a whole year. He said it had to help him with the investigations. What sort of things has he analyzed with it, do you know? Well, actually, he hasn't used it for anything yet. Oh? Why not? Apparently, on the evening he finally completed it, it suddenly occurred to him. I don't actually have anything I need to analyze. Oh dear. How about you, Runo? Do you have anything you like to analyze? The only thing that springs to mind is this machine itself. Ugh. Is there anything? What's this? There's all sorts of works on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help but feeling the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. I keep telling Hurley not to clam so much on those shelves. Good advice. He wanted to look something up in one of those books a while ago. But it was so tightly wedged in he couldn't get it out, so he went and bought a new copy instead. I've seen pictures of Western musical instruments like it's called a violin, isn't it? Of course it is. Mr. Sholmes is renowned for his violin playing. Oh, really? Absolutely. It's often explained in his stories. It's inspiration, Mr. Naruhodo. Inspirational. I immediately started playing to the koto, which is the closest Japanese string instrument I could find. What a shame you couldn't bring it with you to London. Oh, yes, well, Papa was beaming when I asked him if he would buy me one. But after a while, he asked if I would only practice when he was out of the house. So now it's merely an ornament in my room. That must have been an awkward conversation. Oh, we got an achievement. Second roll strings? Rate strings? Well, this is interesting. It looks like the huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. Seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock. So Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. Always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? Oh, that chest contains some of my most valuable things. And that smile tells me you're not going to give us any clue what they are. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Lingering beside the fire, watching the flames flicker and dance in the grate, it's so relaxing. You can't relax when there are so many interesting things on the mantelpiece. Oh, it's just as I was describing the stories. Is it? Yes, exactly. Inside that Persian slipper, for example. Are my chocolates for 11s? I can't say. And transfixed by that large jackknife is my shopping list for the market. Oh, it's not quite how I remember it being described as Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Horses saddles on, she looks crushed. A mystery shrew, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection. This is the first time in my life that I've seen a lonely old shoe displayed as an ornament. Oh, those are my mementos that Hurley has collected from his past cases. Really, even the bust. Oh, that's right. When the mood takes him, he likes to throw it on the floor and smash it to dust. The poor defenseless emperor, Mr. Holmes, destroys it. Yes, and then he buys a new one. You make it sound like he has the temperament of an insane sculptor. How entrancing bohemian of him. Well, let's get it thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Oh, much better. I was trying to use my mouse, but it wouldn't let me. Ah, that's my blackboard where I write down ideas. Ooh, interesting. Let's see. Black Peter. What does that mean? Don't you hear what Iris has to say, Miss Naruhodo? I'll come back to that blackboard later. What a beautiful English tea set, so neatly arranged. The favorite pastime of mine, a cup of herbal tea in the afternoon. Tea made of herbs? That's right. I grow all sorts of herbs in the garden so I can experiment with different blends. One moment, don't go away. I'll brew a pot of the special blend I came up with earlier today. She looks delighted. I only hope it's safe to drink. It's a charming little white shelf. It's full of charming little bottles, too. Oh yes, don't touch any of those. I might explode. Explode? Are they exotic chemicals you use them for exciting experiments? Yes, indeed. As the Hurley always says, chemistry is an explosive science. Sorry? I agree, every single drop can be... Discovery can trigger an explosion of innovation all over the world. Or perhaps he just meant it literally. Either way, mental note, do not touch any bottle that belongs to Iris. We could cause an explosion. But sir, no! What on earth is that big black lump over there? Ah, that fascinating thing is called a typewriter. It's a machine that allows you to write on paper without needing a pen. And wizardly quickly, too. Ooh, that sounds like it could be very useful for someone like me with terrible handwriting. I don't know why Ryunosuke Naruhodo likes to, damage his own self. Feels bad, man. Alright, let's converse. Iris. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey? Yes, that's right. You were so helpful. Thank you very so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Like this. Don't shoot. Don't shoot! Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. Was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly, so I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about getting a fit self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. This girl is very dangerous. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes, we live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such a interesting young daughter. Daughter, not likely. What? Are you adopted? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would he? Would I? Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you to find out that lodging of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost for the partner, a roommate. Your roommates. Don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder if that's the story, what the story is there. So she's a bit older than Pearl Faye, I guess. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Rand's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? That's right, Hurley was always solving amazing cases, you see. And he tells me about them. And they're really quite fascinating. It'd be such a shame that it was only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness. Last night he was telling me all about a new case he solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing right up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author. Ah. Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm gonna call this latest adventure the Speckled Band. The Speckled Band, that's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories here and there. This time I had the idea of making a venomous snake that'd be the cause of all the trouble. Please no. No venomous snakes, please. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, of course, and I know that a snake not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... It's a story. Some poetic license just defined to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So, do you mean to say... Are those stories by Mr. Sholmes are published in Rand's magazine? All written by me, yes, on my wonderful, very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Saosun's getting more and more worked up. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name is Willie Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true, but too, I'm a doctor of medicine. No, at 10 years old? Oh, God, I'm not sure if I believe anything. At 10 years old... Wait, you're not lying, are you? Well, that's quite incredible. But... Susano's-san looks very devastated. No! Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. It did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds like a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I suppose it does, yes. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world has been falling apart. Feels effing bad, man. Your deductions just now. About before. Yes. What's in your mind, Uno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer? You just arrived in London, I mean. Yes. Oh, and we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How do you know all of that as well? Oh, that's what you mean? Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh no. Is it what I think it is? First of all, I knew already you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said we only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast. She could see that little? Oh. So I'm reasonably confident that you must have been only just arrived on the country. And on top of that, you accepted the case against a particular prosecutor. Tell me you weren't aware of the London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you, earlier today? They use those stamps to keep a close eye on the comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me, even though you had only yesterday included the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already been caused to visit a foreign inmate from a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particular sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how could you have known that the trial was tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours, Hurley solved yet another case. It was obviously amusing to him. He told me that he caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been Soseki-san. Mr. Natsume. And now Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided that the defending Japanese man Hurley caught, and there was only one conclusion that those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. I mean, isn't that what we're here for? There's a note on the mantelpiece that says that the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. That was very accurate. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. Even managed the certain something at Mr. Strome's delivery. Oh well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really a very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please? In the case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Hurley had arrived back in London after his sea voyage, but the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. The great detective's a popular man, it seems. Apparently a woman was stabbed on the quiet street somewhere in town. And there were witnesses that had been seeing a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking, stooped man? Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. So Seki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. But it seems like there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great detective powers to determine the male's address. It was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark on that time. Of course he did, he's a great detective. But still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, is it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that the London is rife with crime. Oh? Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay top of it all, apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating the cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. It's been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we would like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Ah, well, I expect that Hurley is still investigating the scene of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Natsume! Okay, Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Goody. In that case, keep Gregson this from me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What's this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, seems. Iris's postcard with a message on the back from Iris. It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Gosh, this will make Inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck then. I'm going to return to my writing manuscript, The Speckled Band. I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. Well, we'll be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, it's back to the scene of the crime. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. So we headed back to the scene of the crime, a scene with Iris's curious note and one of the world's heaviest silver coins in hand. Oh, we're at the end of the Part 1 investigation. Yeah, we're gonna continue. it'll just depend on how far we can go. Alright, let's continue. Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here. Carry on with their investigation. Perfect, let's go find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave for us. Alright, I guess we present this then. First, this is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Yes, you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want with just a single one. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What is it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips an inspector could possibly eat in a whole month. That's greasy. Iris' little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Yes, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment there. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we know when he reads it. You don't think it will just make him munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, that wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. I guess. Alright, let's present this. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment?
I'm sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much busy to talk to a foreign gadabout, that's for sure.
Well, we have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson.
What? For me? From her ladyship?
Her ladyship?
Give me that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me.
Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly?
Silver crown, officer. It's a lot more than that. It's, well, an appearance fee, that's what it is.
Appearance fee? Oh, I see, you mean...
That's right. For the adventures of Herlock's shoulders. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me every time.
Yes, of course I know that you're about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly.
Of course, using her name without my say-so does make me the build of a lot of impressive jokes, but still.
Sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you.
Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh?
Sorry?
Tell the gentleman black what he wants to know. That just won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustached Japanese fellow. He lives in the right old hovel, just over there. Look.
Oh, it was right here the whole time?
On the first floor of that house in the corner where that wreck of a bicycle propped up.
That is nearby indeed.
If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Darabin. Right, well, if you see her again, make sure you give her the ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his best wishes.
Well, don't worry, Inspector, we will.
Well, goodbye for now. Long live her ladyship.
Well, at least he told us what we want to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Alright. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. This is his place.
May I help you?
Ah, yes, this would be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb?
Indeed it would, sir. Who may I say is calling?
My name is Rianowski Naruhodo, Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he's taking lodgings here. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client.
One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garrideb.
Did you see that, Mrs. Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know, as I understand it, anyone staying in an English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this stage just keeps getting better and better. Certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We only need to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I go that far, but I understand the sentiment.
Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrideb was receiving now. This way.
And first, let's explore shit. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. You enjoy reading? What voice should I give him?
Ever experience a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than the front of the fire with a jolly good book.
Oh, there's a copy of Rent's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. It's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing. Bah. That's a little more than a toy.
Sorry?
The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon at the house.
Really? It isn't overkill?
Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted road is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb?
Always is take Joni. He never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Dries over the barrel, you see. To dry very well on the cannon there. Joan tells me, which proves my point, I feel.
It's really reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? It's clearly been well looked after, though.
That old thing? Pah, not much better than rags, really.
Oh?
Or that ceremony guard of my retirement bash, you know? I'm not one for dwelling on the past. Me would have gladly thrown it out with, but you know how it is. Anyway, that doesn't have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it?
Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. It looks like a Medal of Honor showcased on the very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me it's not straight.
What? That old thing?
Sorry?
I should be glad to see the back of it. But the general would turn his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. It keeps the barely thing out of my way.
So it's just unperished to shine by accident, I suppose? Polished to shine? There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself, look. Let me see, it says, for distinction in English participation. Sounds like the kind of honors would be even I could be in line for.
Well, one doesn't like to blow on one's trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure up an officer by the medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles.
Well? Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems Strone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm going to have a very quick look, just a little peek.
Ahem, ahem!
Maybe let's not, Mrs. Sato. I think the maid is going to head us off with a cup of tea. Ahem, ahem! What's that? This window looks out the Briar Road where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing even open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. Sorry? As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the spot. No Londoner will go opening windows at the dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. It seems very unlikely that these two would have been seen anything of the incident, then. Oh, look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up, it looks more like someone has demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is the time of indulgence, you know. It's quite the English way. It is Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That sounds delightful. Oh, wait a minute though. There are already at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally, it would never do to waste the leftovers. So whatever Mr. Garrett doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you sure have time to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. Look at this crocky on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser, isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken and the crockery is, oh dear, it's in pieces. Really is. The word crack wouldn't do that for China-ware justice. Ah, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it? Yes, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here. Alright, let's converse. Or examine.
Good day, T.
Good day. Wait, I forgot what voice I gave him. No! Dang it. My memory sucks, bro.
I get good day to you. John Garrideb at your service.
Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Laro. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot at the knee a few years back in the battle made my wand. Don't you know? Earned a medal for my pain, so I had to withdraw from service. Hand over the reins to the up-and-comings.
So he's a retired soldier.
It's a hell of a job getting up and down the stairs now. I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garrideb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just for the roll, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch the... Arrgh! Dash it all, woman, be careful!
Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir!
You jolly nearly took the skid off my hands.
Jesus fucking Christ. How much tea did you pour on him? That's fucking hot, yo! Okay. I should be more careful, sir.
So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now.
Yes, I see.
Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we would like to be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us.
Only to please naturally, especially if it helps you keep the peace here in Blightly. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, so I'm sure you're aware. So this case is very much in the public eye, as it were.
Oh, is it?
He had some famous detective poking around, you know, in his old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Holarek Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea. All that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Rant's magazine here, sir.
No, that's not mine.
Anyway, the chap's investigating the drawing room as we speak. So he's in Soseki-san's room.
Body nuisance, what it is. The whole chamber is twitching its curtains now. I don't like this. All this fuss is jolly unsettling.
About Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett, please do tell us.
Ah, yes, the Japanese chap. He'd only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week?
So he moved in.
So you moved in very recently then?
I have 2 lodgers at most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor room becomes available a week ago. See, there. Ah! God damn you, woman! Dash it all, Joan. Do be careful. You nearly burnt me again for the 2nd time in a row.
Oh my goodness! I'm terribly sorry, sir. I am very clumsy, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set my eyes on him. Oh, why? Seemed to have most nervous disposition, always shaking, looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written all across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. Said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's gonna do something untoward. I'm rarely wrong about anything. We won't be calling this maid a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Oh yes, indeed it was. And she's dying to tell us. Shady lodger. Had you noticed anything at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Oh, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books, is it? More than anyone could ever read. And even so much passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots up to look over that bookshop every single day and comes back to 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time. Everyone else in the house has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. Gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. Never going to that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh! I understand that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right. Yes, they're both below us, on the first floor in the street level.
Then, how is that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed.
God! You mad woman! Good grief, Joan, you be more careful, woman. This is the 3rd time in a row.
Oh my goodness, sir! I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. They're hiding something. I guess we won't get any further with that until, like, the trial, maybe? Seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window around that time?
The window.
Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time with the Garrett household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road.
Oh, I see. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated.
Well.
Yes, was there something that...
Well, it's nothing significant around that sort of time in here and there. Ah! For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing. This is the 4th time in a row.
Oh, dear me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir.
If I may,
Mr. Naru, hello.
Yes?
I have an exceeding good memory, as far as I remember. Nothing of any significance took place here at the hour, nothing at all.
Oh, really, Mr. Garadeb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been.
Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing. Ah! Joan Dashida, what is the matter with you, woman? How many times have you done this already?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan?
That's right, Mr. Garadeb.
What is the matter with these two? Alright, I hope we can... I'm hoping they get brought up during the trial and we get to expose them. Because they're hiding so much relevant info that we could be having. Sounds like something happened here in this room in the evening of the incident, but what? I wish I knew. Can you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on?
Why, certainly. Just below us on the 1st floor.
And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there as we speak?
Yes. Told me Natsu's name. Had to ask him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key.
Mr. Natsume's are engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if I had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room, I mean?
Don't see why not. It's just one down flight upstairs.
Who knows if we'll find anything that help us with the case, but we have to try. And I really hope these two get brought up during the trial because they are hiding so much info, I feel like. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. He'll be able to tell us more. Alright, how far are we? Yeah, I think we're gonna save. So next time on Grace Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're gonna be continuing. Hopefully, we can finish this investigation. I guess I'll see you guys all next time.